Kids that like to spin their wheels and grease out of parking lots, such as this one at Minnetonka, only get a touch of the thrill of what Jim Whipple does. He races cars. Here's more about Jim Whipple and his exciting hobby.
At the relatively young age of 19, only 1 year out of high school, Jim Whipple began his pro racing hobby at Riverside Park. 1 year later, with the help of a new car, Jim has become a respected veteran at the age of 20. He lives in Hampton and works at the Four Corners Arco Station in East Long Meadow, where we talked to him. How did you get started? What made you get interested?
Well, I've been around cars all my life, and my dad raced 20 years ago or so. And I've just gone to the races since I was old enough to drive down, and even before then he was bringing me down.
What kind of car is this?
This is a modified stock car. It's an old Vega, just a Vega body. All the racing frame and racing roll bars, that's all special racing equipment we have to purchase.
What other kind of cars are there besides modifieds?
Well, at Riverside Park, they just run what's called a figure 8 car, which runs through the intersection at the track itself. Instead of running in an oval like we do, they run in a figure 8. At Stafford Speedway, they run also a sportsman class and a hobby division. The hobby division is more or less cars right off the street, which they do have to put a roll bar in just for safety, but everything else, the tires.
What's the roll bar?
The roll bar are the bars inside the car itself to protect the driver, whether it's in the doors or above their heads. You know, if they get in a crash or the car should roll.
Like a cape. How do you prepare for a race?
As far as preparing goes, we work on the car probably every night during the week. Just, if we didn't have a bad week Saturday night, we stayed out of trouble and we ran good, what we'll do is we'll take a lot, like the rear end apart and the motor apart, and just check and make sure everything's going to be all right for the next Saturday night. You don't go over there cold. We have to check all the equipment over and make sure nothing's cracked, nothing's broken. We change tires and just minor things, really.
Do you have any kind of special equipment?
As far as the special equipment goes, we wear a fire suit, which is called a flame retardant suit in this case. This suit will protect the driver for 30 seconds while he's in flames, and that'll give you 30 seconds to get out of the car before the suit starts to catch on fire. Whereas a lot of the bigger races, say Daytona or Indy, they wear fire socks and gloves and a face shield over their face, and it's a fire suit where it will not burn ever.
Could you say that the way you're racing now is a first step into, like, say, the Indy 500?
No, right now this is, you can call it a first step if you want, but it's nowhere near what you say Indy 500. It's a long ways from there.
I noticed, how come all your tires are different sizes?
The different size tire is the way the car will handle on the track. They're all 15 inches wide, which is the rule for NASCAR. But as far as the circumference of the tire, whether this tire here, they're all 15 inches wide this way. This tire here happens to be 86 inches around the outside of the tire.
All of them are 15 inches that way? That one looks like it's shorter.
The left front, you can run a 15-inch tire if you want. That one there is a 13-inch tire. That's just a smaller tire because that happens to be the wheel that we had on there. But the difference in the circumference of it, this one's 86. The left rear is 86 and a half, or the right rear. And the left rear happens to be 83 and a half, which is 2.5 inches difference for the tire stagger, which will make the car handle different going into turns.
Why are the smaller ones on the left-hand side?
Because you're always going around a left-hand turn. You're on a left-handed track. You're always turning to the left, which will make the car lean to the left and handle into the turn a little bit better.
What do you like about racing, though? What
do I like about racing?
To you?
I like the challenge of it. More or less, we're in it for the sport, for the fun of it. We like working on cars. We like driving cars. And we're all taking turns right now, just having a little bit of fun with it and something to do on a Saturday night.
Yeah, you know all the other racers, right? Everyone
down in the pits, all the drivers and all the mechanics and crew, everyone's good friends down there. Everyone will do anything they can to help out another driver.
Is racing your future?
Racing's fun to me right now. It's a hobby, more or less, to me. As far as being a future, it's going to be tough because racing's a very expensive game. A lot of the guys you hear about now don't own the cars. The ones racing now, they don't own their cars. They have a sponsor and someone really backing them with a lot of money. And this is the only way you can stay in racing if you're going to make a future out of it.
Right now, Jim has been consistently making the feature events at Riverside Park. With the help of another new car now being built, Jim should become a top name racer at that track.